Wait. Oh, come on!
What happened?
I had this awesome intro ready, but my computer just lost it.
Oh, I hate when that happens.
I know, and you guys are putting so much pressure on me to make this great, too.
What do you mean?
Well, you remember what happened, right? It all started when I did a little Mr. Rogers shtick, thinking, oh, this would be a fun way to introduce this new series. But then all the people watching it were like, bro, that Chris guy's so handsome and funny. I hope that everyone does the wicked awesome stuff like this. So when Roy did his intro, he was all, man, I'm going to make mine way more fire than Chris's intro. He's going to be shook. And then Mike had to be all like, bam, CSI Miami. The kid's going to think this is Gucci. No cap. And if I mess this up, Tom will probably look at me and think, man, Chris used to slap, but now he's acting out of pocket. It's fine. I'll just make a new intro. Hey everyone, my name is Chris and welcome back to another Rapid Fire Roundup. I'm never going to do that again. That was a mistake. Alright, take two. Hey, so this is the series where we're going to go through some of the games that either are being reviewed by other people, have already been, or maybe this is just a place to give some first opinions on some of these games. I'm going to go through quite a few here. I'm going to do the same way that we've done it, where I'm starting off with the game that I was impressed with the least and moving into the games that I have been impressed with the most recently. And I'm just going to talk about them real quick. So I'm going to start with a game called Titans. This is a large-looking kind of dudes on the map type of a game, troops on a map, soldiers mashing into each other, and you have a Titan for each faction that you control, all the different players. And the game is a slog. It's really slow. I will say I'm tentative about this game. Maybe I'll have better opinions of it when I play it at lower player counts. We played with the optional 5th player module. Do not play this game with 5 players because it is way too long, way too lucky. The card drafting mechanisms and the card battling mechanisms sound really neat, but there's too much going on. It's too slow, there's not enough movement, and so with 5 players it was terrible. I'm open-minded that this might be better, especially at maybe a 2 or a 3 player count, but I'm not optimistic. Next up, I played a game called Nanga Parbat. This is something that Z reviewed. It is a small box game by Dr. Steve Finn, and I've liked some of his stuff. In fact, I'm going to talk positively about a few of his games later on today and in the future here in the next few weeks. But this one fell flat for me. It's too abstract, but it's also too joyless to be a good abstract game. I liked the idea as it was being taught to me. I said, ooh, maybe there's some neat strategic possibilities with taking certain animals and then forcing my opponent to go to different areas to collect different animals, but the novelty wasn't good enough. And I would compare this to 5 Tribes, where at the start of the game everything's very open, and then the possibilities start closing as the game continues, but unfortunately they close in a very unfun way that wasn't exciting, whereas other games that do stuff like that, like 5 Tribes, the tension rises and is more fun as the game starts to wind down. So, unfortunately, Nanga Parbat, not for me. Next up, I looked at the AEG game Sheepy Time, which has one of these strangest titles, has one of these strangest pieces of art on the cover, and you know what? I had fun with this push your luck game. Thought it was kind of cool. In actuality, a fun theme where you're running, where you're sheep that jump a fence to help people go to sleep, but also like a nightmare monster is chasing you. The nightmare monster is different each game, and while I thought that this one was okay and fun, it was a little slow for a push your luck game for me. And then also the graphic design was bad. I'm not talking about the art. The art is fine to be that strange and surrealistic sheepiness or whatever it was, but I had a problem with the graphic design. Over the course of the game, you put out special power tiles onto the different spaces of the track around the fence that you jump over, and they were hard to read. There were one on every single of the 11 or 12 spaces. It was too much, and it slowed down the game because of how difficult they were to read. So that's why this game is not that great for me. But I'm going to move on now from the games that I couldn't quite recommend to the ones I really do like. And I'm going to start off with Andor, the family fantasy game. This is a kid's game, but it's also a family game. It was enjoyable for me to play. I played it with my 5-year-old daughter. She grasped it really well. And you are trying to rescue 3 wolf cubs in a cave, but you have to complete 2 different quests on this map before you go to the cave. It has good tension, and it has, I believe, 10 different quests that you can select from and make a combination of 2. The timing on it is good, the tension is good, and the art is fantastic. It in fact even has variable player powers, good cooperative play. Really recommend it for families with younger kids, but you still want to play kind of a meaty, a little bit more meaty of a feeling game. After that, I played Biblios, Quill, and Parchment. This one is by, well, as I alluded to earlier, Dr. Steve Finn. This is a roll and write based on the original Biblios game. Full disclosure, I did not play Biblios, but I thought this game was neat. It did a few things that were clever with the roll and write genre. It has 2 halves to it. The first half is more of the typical roll, and then you can maybe re-roll a die or something, and then up to 3 times, and then you get what's on there. But in the second half of the game, it becomes a bit of a dice drafting, where there's a shared pool in the middle. You have to bid the currency that you earned from the first half of the game to be able to bid for turn order to draft that middle pool of dice. Really neat ideas. Very confusing because I had not played the original Biblios. I might recommend that people do that, but a good roll and write, I could see myself coming back to this one. Next up, incidentally, another game that Z reviewed, Guess Club. Guess Club is a strange party game, but it's really good. In fact, I played this one back in Las Vegas with Crystal Pisano, and I played it now with Z again. And you know what I found with 2 completely different groups of people, this game really works. It's a bit of a strange explanation. You are trying to write on these little dry erase cards things that fit a category, and you want to match with other people, or you don't want to match. And that's kind of up to you. And if you think that there's going to be a lot of matching, or if you think there's going to be not a lot of matching, over the course of the game, as you lay out these cards and people see if you match, you bet how many matches there are going to be. And there's a really neat little game around that. So, highly recommend it. It's a difficult to find game. I believe it's printed from Japan, but if you can find a copy somehow, I think it's really neat. Speaking of games from Japan, Mike reviewed Hey Yo, the little Oink game, which is it has a real-time element with a little beatbox, and every whistle that plays on this teeny little, beat machine, you have to lay a card out. This is cooperative, and you're trying to make good chains of heys and yos and other little catchy phrases, but basically reds and greens and blues, and then you want to play a scoring card. The real-time pressure is smart, and also you're, with every card, building 2 simultaneous chains of words, and so you want to not mess up either side of the chain. It's a really smart little game, and small box, and I think one of the most fun Oink games that I've ever played. Second to last game, this is getting into the really great games now. 2 games left. Number 1 was Beyond the Sun. Beyond the Sun is a little bit of an older game that I didn't play until just recently. It is a giant tech tree. This is not a very great looking game. I joke that it looks literally like a spreadsheet, but it speaks to me. The tech tree is joyous. It's really fun to see how it develops, and the players get to kind of develop what technologies turn into higher level different technologies. You choose what they are to put them out. But also it's a solid worker placement game. Turns can be very smooth and very easy and hopefully quick. And so this game is big and it's long, but it has a very satisfying engine that you build, and I want to keep playing it. It's great. And lastly, I want to talk about Kemet, Blood and Sand. I'm kind of, I'm made fun of for being like the dry Eurogame player of the group here, but I really liked Kemet. If you want to smash armies into each other, if you want to fight, this is a really smart game for it. Turns are quick. You do almost a little action selection thing on your own player board. It's kind of like a worker placement dish, right? You put a disc out and you do the action. Very fast. Very smart little economy to the game. You just have like a one little track of resources that you're spending on things, but that little resource track is super important. Your whole turn might be get 2 of that resource, but then you go into fights. It has a really elegant card play battle system. You play 1 card out and you compare numbers, and there's a few secret cards, but nothing terrible. I found this game was really engaging from beginning to end. A lot of technology to build up. So these last 2 games, Beyond the Sun and Kemet, both have really satisfying tech trees. Give that to me. Dry Euro game or smash each other in the face game. I want tech trees. So anyway, that's what I've been playing recently. Hope that you all found that informative and maybe got to know my tastes a little bit better or appreciated having a second opinion on some of these games. Well, keep joining us for this series. This has been a real fun one to do. Thank you for coming by. My name is Chris from the Dice Tower. Have a great day.